Right, that's true. Yeah, you're not getting my follow alerts, are you?
No.
We are not. In that case,
set
that is
that up.
something I should probably go through. Do I have a way of checking all the follow alerts? Yes, I do.
Well, yeah, that, and also if you want them to appear on the screen, if you can just send me the URL to your browser source for it, and I'll get that on there.
I can do.
But the PSA is declared war. Oh my lord! Okay, the entire eastern seaboard is to the CSA and the Union State.
That's
And
what I had last time. This is the map
California.
from last time.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. No, this is completely different to what I saw, and the PSA is just California.
I think that half of Texas was AUS, so this is a stronger United States than I had previously. And I can't remember. I think that Oregon was also PSA, but I believe that Washington was federal. But in this, they've got Oregon and Washington.
Yeah, that literally just flipped. Very interesting. I mean, and yes, no, Maine has gone to Vermont, and Maine has gone to Canada. Look at that.
So just very quickly to go through my notifications. LP 4, Datrium, LOL, Adref, Soft Sponge, Crusty Battery Acid, Pilot, Desi Lily Kronos, thank you very much for the follows. Welcome to the channel. Then Luftwaffle coming in with an 18-month resub. Thank you very much for that, Luftwaffle. And then Jackson coming in with a 30-month resub. Thank you very much for the ongoing support from you both as well. And for those of you who are watching, remember, you can go and check out Midgeman as well on his own channel. At the moment, everything is on mine because we don't want to compete with each other. But usually Midge also covers a lot of games like this too, and he is an awesome streamer, and you should definitely check him out. If you want to put a link to your channel in chat, Midge, you are more than welcome to do so.
Dear Lord, I will do that in a moment. When we're not looking at the American Civil War.
I'll let you cover that.
Yeah, we don't have anyone thus far. Okay, no, some of the Entente are giving Lend-Lease to good old military junta of MacArthur. Canada has declared its support after seizing New England. I wonder, will we see how will we see volunteers from any of the other nations?
I would very much expect
attaches in the PSA from Japan, the Fentang.
Yeah, I would very much expect to see volunteers from CoPro because they've been very, very active in all of the Civil War so far in PSA.
We actually have volunteers in the Syndicalists right now from the Third International, all of the Third International here, sending out their volunteers. We've got Ireland, the Union of Britain, Spain, and Socialist Italy, all pushing troops in, which is good to see them getting involved here. I'm so happy to see other factions getting involved in the American Civil War here, because I didn't see it, and I longed for it.
Yeah, thankfully we had a pretty intensive, competitive game last week in the Civil War, and I actually feel like it's going to be more competitive this time, because we are seeing several nations joining the PSA there. We know that the Federals are being supported by the Entente. CSA is being supported. What about AUS? Are Reichspakt doing anything for that?
I haven't checked the AUS. Let me just hop on over, and after that, yes, we've got German troops here in Shreveport, or near it, in just above Lafayette here with it. They're moving on towards Houston. I don't think the Americans have enough troops on the line here to push that. I also looking over here, it seems there's been a cutoff, but I think that's just the AI. Yeah, it's just German troops over here making a dash towards Houston. I'm going to quickly tab out so I can get your stream alerts going.
All good.
So, do not touch the screen. I need my controls.
Sorry. Yeah, you need the controls. I'm so used to this being where we just have that third PC.
That third
we just
PC.
switch between us.
If anyone wants to fund a third PC for me to be able to do these things more often, that would be great. I'd absolutely adore that. Maybe eventually I'll have a stream PC and a... Oh, that would be the dream, right? Dual PC streaming setup.
Heck yeah.
I could really
like that. That's end game right there. That's end game streamer life.
A friend of mine has one. A Ko2 streamer I work with quite often. He has 2 PCs because he's also a animator. So he has one as an animation workstation, but he also worked it so he has a gaming rig and a processing rig. And my gosh, I want that set up so badly.
That would be pretty nice. I mean, I have my laptop, which I guess I could use if I absolutely had to. It is a gaming laptop. It's pretty potent, but desktops.
Yeah, desktops are the thing. Oh gosh, have you ever had those dreams of like just like one of my dreams as a content creator would be to have an office as a content creator. Like, no, I'm not talking a home office. I've got one of those, but like, I have like a studio that I like drive to work and go to.
Yeah, I mean, watching some of the big streams like Angry Joe, he's got a studio like that, and Burke Black is in the process of building one.
I love his as well. Like I've seen the sketch. Like he put out the sketches of what it is. Like what he's developing, and the live pirate ship is just so cool. But I'd like a multi-room thing with you've got a tabletop room for like live tabletop recordings. You know, that is just so cool. Just that's the dream right there, people. That is the dream.
100%. You still busy, or can I click away some of these events?
Last thing being done right now. And let's put that to live and back to studio mode. Yep, all yours. Your alerts should now appear on the screen.
Oops. Okay. Cool.
I knew there would be one thing that we forgot to set up in our setup period today.
I'm sure that something else will emerge at some point as well. So the USA has actually completely failed to get the cutoff here. They're trying to get through Los Angeles and the point just north of Los Angeles, but the PSA have brought in princely Federation troops to stop them. So I was right. The CoPro has indeed showed up in some force. And actually, let's just take a quick look to see exactly who's answered. So 4 of the factions have. That is... Who's missing? Japan, Siam, Russia. Russia's not
Russia.
here.
No Russia.
Then in the USA, we have got
no Russia.
Australasia, Brazil, Canada, and France. And obviously the USA themselves are fighting. CSA, we've got every single one of them fighting for them. And then the AUS, just Germany. So again, Reichspakt are losing out on some of that early experience potential, which I think is going to hurt them long term, because the others are just going to be so much further ahead of them in this.
Absolutely. The one thing I will look to wonder how it will handle is the Italian wars. In the previous game, the International really didn't put much thought into the Italian wars. Italy was really underpowered and left to kind of do it itself all the time. Like, it was months before the Weltkrieg. Like and I worry that that's gonna be an issue again. You've just had a follow. Come on in.
Hey.
I actually heard the whoo. And I was like, oh, that's the Mordred follow. That's there we go. They come.
Here they come.
yeah, they all come on in.
Talking of the Italy war, actually, in my game last week, it's probably the most hilarious, but probably not for the player outcome, because he lost. Italy lost to the Italian Republic. They capped the capital, and that capitulated the whole country, even though they're on the verge of beating 2 Sicilies. Yeah. Which basically meant that Third International was a player down because they didn't have an Italy.
Exactly. So I wonder what they'll be, how they're going to be handling that front. America here, though, is losing slightly. There's Italian paratroopers landing behind American lines there. This does not look good.
Yes, there are. I didn't know you could send paratrooper volunteers. That's interesting.
Well, if you send planes and paratroopers, and they're small enough divisions, yeah, it makes sense.
And they're keeping a line of supply open for themselves. They're not trying to move out or anything. They haven't got any cutoffs like that. So maybe they should have tried to save the paras for a little bit later until there is actually a cutoff. Like trying to get the entire section around here cut off with a line of paras behind, maybe working in unison with the American Union state, would have been devastating for the Federals.
Yeah, absolutely. Australasian troops, it seems, have landed in the PSA, and there's light tank divisions coming out in Denver from the Federals. Can we take a look at that division template?
Take over. It's all yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna just to see.
Actually, no, can't look at templates.
Oh, we're not allowed?
Nope. Okay. War hasn't started. So yeah, we're not allowed to look at division templates until the war started, or I think it's 1941.
That's right. I recall that now.
I'm glad I remembered that. I was like, no!
It was very close there. Japanese being pushed out of Los Angeles here from the French Republic. We've got a PSA breakout in the north. I just don't think there's enough federal troops here to hold these borders, especially as we've now got players microing from all sides. We've got German troops in the air, US, and the Syndicalists are also making a mad dash here now.
Or Denver.
Yeah,
Although they do have those tanks there, so I think that the Powers are going to have that little surprise waiting for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they've been cut off by these Australasian divisions. Got some the 2nd New Zealand division here.
Last Order just lost to Russia. So one thing that I did notice when I was panning over Europe is that Austria is currently fighting against Hungary, which is why we've not seen Austrian volunteers, because they're in their own war. Can't send volunteers while at war.
Yeah.
Which also means that Russia can't, which is why Russia's not here.
Mm-hmm. And I will say the PSA is slowly being dealt with, but they are breaking out into Oregon. Portland and Salem, Oregon, already fallen. They're making a mad dash up to Seattle.
Those are very fringe territories. Like, they don't contribute very much to the overall war score and the surrender chance for the USA. And the fact that they're losing LA and they're having pressure put onto them at Sacramento and San Francisco is much worse.
Mm-hmm. I will say, though, these northern states are a direct core of the PSA. So they won't kill it. It will go towards their... I believe it will save them from capitulation, possibly.
Maybe, and also it just occurred to me that if they occupy the entire state, then they can call the militias, the loyal militias, from those states as they take them. So yes, as they take more land, it is better for them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But it looks like France is about to get another cut-off, yeah.
It's a cut-off and an encirclement of both Japanese and Princely Federation and Fentangian government troops. That is they've managed to cut off most of the volunteer divisions. However, they might get a breakout here. Nope, they did get the breakout here. That's good playing
but it's
there, though.
Just Japan, and there is a lot of French artillery coming in on top of them right now.
Absolutely. Siamese here turning around to try and help out. I will say, though, it's not looking good with just the Australasian player essentially holding the front over here. No, the King's Own from Canada are also here. They've managed to hold the line at Houston as well. This is where the German troops were microing. They've since stopped moving, which is good. So it's just almost a two-front at the moment. They need to knock out the PSA very soon, though. I will let you.
I do kind of wonder if they've contributed too many troops in the south by Texas, because they have 2 divisions for every province there. And as a river crossing, I don't think that they necessarily need that many. Down here, these green guys.
They're looking to make a push, maybe.
Possibly, but that's a very difficult place to push. It's across a river into swamps and forests.
Yeah.
Can I show you the player map mode? I think that can be arranged, yeah.
Absolutely.
And in fact, because I know that a lot of new people will be joining us, let's do a very quick recap of who the players and the teams are. So, in the Entente, we've got the Empress of France in Canada. We've got Chasm in the USA. We have got Nationalist France led by someone. It switched my map mode. That's cheating. The correct burb. We have got Marcosa down in Brazil. And then finally in Australasia, we've got Anti-Teammate. And then over to you, Midge, for the Co-Pro.
Oh, you want me to do the co-pro? Okay, so we have Alanen in the Fentangian government. We have Jedi Reverend in Japan. We have Boss E2 in Siam. We have Zobertus in the Princely Federation. And finally, Detropat or Detropat in the Russian states. I wonder if we're going to see a Russian civil war here, actually. Looking at when we were looking back at the Russian stability. But something I meant to mention, I wonder if they'll stop the uprising. Because we had no second Soviet uprising last time I was in game. Did that appear in your?
No, it didn't. And it looks like they're recovering their stability. It's up from minus 72 when we checked last time to 36. So I think they're starting to recover a bit. But the fight down in Austria is really starting to heat up, because we also have Bulgaria embroiled in flames. Bulgaria, of course, being played by Afro-Bavarian. We've got Mumiago in Austria, Grisha Putin in Germany, Golden in Bulgaria, and then finally Nikki in Sweden. And we'll take a look at that war in just a moment, but we'll finish off the introductions with the Third International. Midge, take it away.
Stein the 11th, as I incorrectly said Steinix last time and got rudely corrected.
Oi!
We have Macaroni in the Union of Britain, Nada J in Ireland, Remco in Iberia, and someone in Italy, because we've got another peace screen here. And we have in Italy, Theresa May. How did I forget?
Like the most unforgettable name of the lot.
Yeah, no, just pushing through the fields of wheat in northern Italy.
So how about we take a quick look at the wars going on in the Balkans at the moment, because I'm seeing a lot of battle combat icons at the moment.
Take on over.
I was going to let you do it. You do it.
Oh, okay, fine. I'll let you sit around it. I need you to control Z. Control Z
Again?
because weird.
We're constantly fighting over the same mouse.
Yeah, and okay, there goes another Russian war. Russia really cleaning up these states to their south now. So, in Austria, ooh, those combats do not look great. This is Hungary we're looking at, but I mean they're holding the line a little bit. We got some troops here surrounded in Transylvania. Troops moving up from the south here. They are managing to somewhat delay the Austrians. It'd be interesting to see the manpower lost to this. Okay, the Austrians have lost barely anything pushing this war through. I think this is safely in Austria's hands. I wonder which pathway the Austrians are going to go down in terms of what they do with essentially the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Will we see it centralize or something else? Sacramento just fell.
Sacramento,
California.
the capital of California, just went, and they are on the outskirts of San Francisco at the moment.
Yep, they are indeed. It seems the Japanese and Fentangian troops did escape into this San Francisco pocket. But what it means now is with San Francisco here cut off, there's far little supply has to come navally here. Troops in Seattle completely surrounded as well, just holding on to that state. I think the PSA are a little bit done for. Italian paratroopers here landing in Dallas and Austin. They've also taken Houston. That could be very bad for the Federals.
And usually the CSA does push pretty heavily over the Great Plains there in the north, and they are doing that here, but I feel like it's heavier than usual. Like, they are on the borders of Denver right now.
Yeah, they are in Denver. Cheyenne has fallen. Honestly, this could change the game if the International get the syndicates. If they knock out the American player, the Entente are over.
I mean, I think we're currently ticking down to the Canadian intervention, which will flip things pretty dramatically in the Entente side, but forcing that intervention is going to set Canada themselves back a bit.
Yep, absolutely. And Canada doesn't have its star player anymore. They've brought in a reserve. So, this could be a worrying sign for the Toucans here. They need to clean up this PSA pocket as soon as possible to free up those troops. PSA almost capitulating there.
All they need to do is take San Francisco and it's theirs.
Indochina's still going, and the Princely Federation are at war with the Dominion of India. So they're beginning the reunification of India right now.
And of course, as part of the rules of this, the Dominion of India are kicked out of the Entente, so the Entente cannot come to their assistance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because ordinarily that would not be possible.
No, it would not.
How's Bulgaria doing? Because they're also fighting their own Balkan powder keg.
The Balkan powder keg has begun. We've got Ukrainian troops here helping them out, it seems. Slow progress towards Serbia. And Romanians have actually crossed the border here as well.
Bulgaria, I think, is one of those areas where we could see the Reichspakt lack of knowledge about Kaiserreich coming into effect. Just like, how do you most effectively fight off this civil war? Because Bulgaria is up against it. Like, their backs are against the wall in this. And it always kind of amazes me just how well the Bulgarian players handled this civil war in a multiplayer setting.
Yes. We saw a great set of maneuvering in the group stages for the Bulgarian players. Probably the team star of the Reichspakt was how well the Bulgarian player dealt with this whole war down here. We do have Swedish and German troops coming in now, so the entire Reichspakt are now focused on helping Bulgaria get through this. And yeah, so I don't know if that's a done deal or not, but hey, I feel like that's going to be better than it was. Good, they're holding against Greece rather than pushing. That makes a lot of sense. Did your Bulgaria, when you saw it, deal with Romania or Serbia first?
I actually have no idea, because the war was over before I even noticed.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Okay. Ours dealt with Serbia, then Romania, and then finally Greece. But yes, crisis.
The main thing that I noticed was the Ottomans also declared war, so they were technically at war on 4 different fronts, and they still managed to push it. Like, that Bulgaria player handled that civil war incredibly well.
More follows coming in. Let's take a look at the Americans now that the line is being reinforced from PSA troops.
And the PSA has finally fallen with the fall of San Francisco. So all of those troops are now swarming over to try to contain the CSA. And most importantly, we have had the Canadian intervention. So the Canadians should now be pouring in from the Northern Front against the CSA.
And they are. We've also got French and Brazilian troops here on the Canadian border. Have they called in the entire... Yep, the entire Entente is in this war. Full on in, not volunteers anymore. This is a full Entente invasion. But that's a lot of resources going into the American Civil War. Obviously, it's necessary because they need to survive. They need their U.S. player because that is their industrial might for the Entente. But yeah, it's still sinking a lot of resources, and it's really good that the International have forced their hand in this for them to plunge these resources in.
And all the time that they're fighting the Civil War itself, they're not rebuilding the USA, which means it's delaying the reconstruction of the country by that much time.
Just trying to see, do we see any international troops on the lines anymore? I just saw that the Italian paratroopers got destroyed here in Texas with the lines reforming, but I think the rest of the International's volunteer forces have actually been recalled at this point. Oh, no, there's some Union Britain troops that are here. There are some UOB here.
I mean, one way you can check is if you click on the country itself.
And check.
And then you can see there. So you got Britain, you got France, you got Ireland.
Where are the Irish troops? Maybe it's planes.
Boston. I don't know if they're actually in Boston.
No, I was going to check. They don't own... Do they own Boston? Yeah, they do own Boston.
Further north. They don't. It's Canadian.
Oh, it's Canadian. I was like, hang on.
Geography, Midge. Geography.
My American.
You clearly haven't played in America enough.
No, not. It's weird. I can do it far better in EU4 than I can in HOI4. The city names are correct in this game. I think that's just time looking at the American continent in this game. So no shipping up to Boston for the Irish here. Interestingly,
That's a great song. So just a little tidbit from the inner workings of Paradox. When we released Leviathan, we did shipping up to Boston as like the release song for the team.
Oh, really? That's amazing. That's so cool.
You can thank Bjorn for that one.
American Union State actually making ground here as well. No push towards Baton Rouge from the United States. I think they're all now... Okay, more Italians coming in after those paratroopers got destroyed. I wonder if they're just standard divisions now, or are they still running paratroopers in?
I kind of suspect that there'll be more paratroopers because I saw how effective they were last time.
Yeah, the line disruption was pretty good. Yep. Nope, that's ignore me.
CSA.
It's the changed helmet icon to a Brody helm that keeps throwing me in these Kaiserreich games. I keep going, oh my gosh, paratroopers, and it's not.
No. New York City coming under attack. And it does look like they're pushing down through New England pretty aggressively. They have cut off New York already. Philadelphia just fell.
Yep, Philly is gone. And also Detroit has fallen. Chicago is within the doorstep of the French Republican troops. Yeah, I still think, I have to say, the Internationals' work to disrupt all of these civil wars, both in China, in America, just all over the world, has been a really good work. Really good use of the knowledge of the Ahoy game, of the Kaiserreich game, to try and get them every second of time that they can to delay the Weltkrieg being on top of them, because the thing is with the International, they are at the center of it. They are the faction that gets surrounded in the Weltkrieg, so the longer they can delay their utter surround, the more time they have against the Reichspakt. And the more time they have of survival that the Co-Pro will come in and hit the Reichspakt, for example.
Exactly. Like, usually when I find the Reichspakt starts to falter is when the Russians come across the Ukrainian plains.
Yep. Yes. And actually, in my game, we saw a surround of 2 million casualties in the Ukrainian front because the Ukrainian player had been expeditionary forced most of that front of the German troops and the Austrian troops, and part of the Austrian troops, and the capitulation just wiped those units because they had been surrounded so much they actually couldn't make it back to their nation, so they were just instantly gone. It was an absolutely huge surround here. Bulgaria has defeated Serbia as well, and they're now pushing into Romania. The same format as I saw in my previous group stage. China War's still going on. The Fentankian government is in a direct conflict now with the Japanese, which means these troops